I'm recording already this session, right? So, my dear ladies, tonight we're going to have our last class of the level intermediate 2. It's the last week, and in this week we only have one class. It's the week number 8, and today we're going to close this level, yes, and we're going to get ready for the next level, which is the last one. So, we are about to start the last 2 months of this course, okay? So this week it's talking about new horizons, not like what is the future depicting for us. Okay, so we're going to have here 3 questions, and I would like you to read and help me to answer, like with honest answers, as usual. So the question number 1, Mrs. Laura, help me to read it, dear, please.
What would be different now if you hadn't started to study English?
Mhm. So imagine that you hadn't started this course the last February. What would it be different now?
Mm, I hadn't started, I hadn't learned uh, some topics, vocabulary, and so on.
Very good. So many topics that you wouldn't have learned, no? So that's fine.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. And Diana, what about you, my dear? Would it be something different if you hadn't started this course? Would be something different?
I couldn't acquire new technologies.
New knowledge, which recuerda que esa K inicial es sorda, so it's just
No.
knowledge. Muy bien, so you wouldn't have acquired some knowledge, grammatical knowledge or lexical knowledge, could be, right? Muy bien, very good. Now, second question, Mrs. Diana, could you please help me to read it? The second question.
Yes, by the time we finish the course, how long will you have been learning English?
Exactly. So we said by the time that we finish the course, that it's going to be the next November the 24th. Ready? How long will you have been learning English?
Um, the question is the quantity of the months.
Yes, exactly. The quantity of months.
Ay, yo no me acuerdo. Uh, I think 9 months.
Exactly 9 months. Very good. 9 months because we started in February 21st and we finish in November the 21st. So there are 9 months in order to complete it. Very good. Perfect, Janit. And the last one, the last question. 5 years from now, what would you like to have achieved? Do you remember what is the meaning of achieved? What is the meaning of this word, achieved?
Lograr.
Lograr, very good. So, in 5 years in the future, or 5 years from now, what would you like to have achieved with your English? Not with this specifically with this course, but with your English level. What would you like to have achieved? A new job, moving to another country, or what?
In my case, I would like to get a better opportunities of the job.
Okay, very
Mm.
good. Okay, that's good. And Mrs. Lau?
So do good. So do I.
So do I. So do I.
I would like to have a new position or new job opportunity.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, Lau, very good. Great. Excellent. So, in this case, we are having, or we're talking about new horizons, no? So that's what, as I said before, what is the future preparing for us? What can we expect from the future, no? And sometimes those things that come for the future, they are related to things that we started in the past. Like, for example, the English course, no? The English course is something that we started 9 months ago. No, not 9 months, 6 months ago, but possibly it's going to affect your future. Yes? So there are certain things that started in the past, but they are, or they have consequence, or they are affecting my present, or possibly they have the potential to affect my future, right? So today we're going to be working into different like perspectives, into different topics. One, it's using conditionals, mixed conditionals, And the second one, it's talking about the future perfect continuous, right? So we're going to talk about those two things and we're going to see what is the purpose of those topics and what are they for. Ready? So first, we have here, wait a second. Let me just make it smaller. Okay, good. Now, we said that when we talk about the actions in the past, we gotta go to the third conditional, right? This is a hypothetical condition in the past. So Laura said, for example, if I hadn't started the course, I wouldn't have learned some topics. And this is a consequence in the past. So I said, okay, this it's something that wouldn't have happened in the past. Now, and the hypothetical condition is if we hadn't started this course. That's a hypothetical situation in the past because actually we started in February 24th. So this is a hypothetical situation in the past. But some of these hypothetical situations in the past, they don't only affect my past, they can also affect my present or possibly my future. In that case, I am going to have the possibility to mix two conditionals. The conditional number 3 with the conditional number 2. So I can create a mixed conditional, which is a hypothetical situation in the past that affects or that possibly affects my future. In which case, I would have to use the first part, the condition, with past perfect, and the consequence with would and the verb in infinitive. Ready? Before, in the third conditional, antes en el tercer conditional, we use past perfect, sí, and would have and the verb in past participle, o sea, would have en el pasado. But if we use the conditionals mixed, we are going to use the past perfect for describing the hypothetical situation, and the consequence would be with would and the verb in infinitive. Or it's possible that we are going to combine the would with present continuous, so would be would be and the verb in ing. Example, I am going to try to imagine what would be my life different like if I hadn't started or if I hadn't studied my career. Yes, my major. So I said like if I hadn't started, if I hadn't studied my major, yes, I of course I have many consequences in the past, many possible consequences in the past, but I want to know how would be my present or possibly my future. So I said that if I hadn't studied my major, philology, back in the 2009, right? In this moment, I would be working as engineer because that was like my mother wanted me to do so as an engineer. Yes. So I would be working. This hypothetical consequence is not about the past, like normally we do in the third condition. This hypothetical consequence is about the present. So it's how that hypothetical situation of the past could possibly affect my present or my future. Ready? Or for example, if if I hadn't if I hadn't planned my life, yes, I wouldn't be planning to have a son or to have a child, yeah, to have a child, which is actually part of my future, no? Because it's a possibility for the future, but it's based on some plans that I did before. So I said that if I hadn't planned my life before, in this moment, I wouldn't be planning for the future to have a child, right? So this is how can we use the mixed conditionals. The mixed conditional is simply going to be the first part of the third conditional with the second part of the second condition. Ready? And it is used to describe hypothetical situations in the past with consequence in the present. Ready? Now, help me to read this example, my dear, please.
If I hadn't missed the job interview, I'd be working now.
Of course. What is the meaning of that D? Why do we have that D there? Which is the contraction for what?
I good.
I would be working now. Exactly. So hypothetical situation in the past if I hadn't missed that job interview. So in real life, I missed the job interview, but I am imagining that if I hadn't missed the job interview, yes, in this moment, the situation would be different. So if I hadn't missed the job interview, I would be working now, right? Más o menos, more or less, this makes conditional.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So I'm going to repeat the question for you one more time, and I would like you to think on something of the present. What would be different now if you hadn't started to study English, right? Probably you would be, or you would have more free time in this moment, possibly, or probably you would be learning other different language, or what would it be different if you hadn't started this English course?
For example, if I hadn't studied English at Smart, I would be I would be studying English with a private teacher.
Okay, so you would continue with your private teacher. Very good. So you would be studying English with a private teacher. That's a
Mhm.
possibility in the present, no? So that's what you would be doing now. Excellent, Laura. Muy bien. And Diana, what about you, my dear?
Mm, I will have more free time, or I will be start other different course.
Okay, so you would be, sorry, you would have more free time. That's great. Or the other one, simply, I would start. I would be a start, no, simply, I would start a new different course, right?
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, muy bien, very good. So those mixed in the conditionals, they can be done in order to describe hypothetical situations in the present or past, but with different kinds of consequences. Ready? So it's something that we can do it, not commonly, but it's something that can happen sometimes, depending on my intention, depending on what I want to express, depending if I want to express the consequence before, the consequence now, a possible consequence for the future. So that's it, right? Now, I suppose that you already have a defined life with your majors, no? But I would like to know, for example, what would be your life like now, of course, if you hadn't studied what you studied. I mean, your major. So, what would be your life like now if you hadn't studied your major? What would you be doing now? What would you be working in, maybe?
If I hadn't started my major, I would be, mm, I could be, I don't know, opening my business.
Okay, very good. What is your major, Lo? Is psychologist? No,
Yes,
yes,
psychologist.
psychology. Okay, and if you hadn't started your own company, your own business, what would it be about?
I would be studying, I don't know, as a English teacher.
Ah,
No?
okay. See, it could be very good. Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So you would open a new, like a language institute or something like that if you hadn't studied psychology?
Mm, I don't know my own or an open a institute, but maybe studying as a teacher or studying a career
Ah,
as a
okay, okay,
teacher.
okay. But because you said that if you hadn't studied psychology, you would start your own business, no? That's what you said before. So I
Okay,
wanted
yeah.
to know what
And
kind
my
of
own
business.
business, I don't know in what set. Uh, I don't know, maybe. No, I don't know. But I think when you don't study, you start or you work your own business. No,
That's a
maybe.
possibility. Yes, of course. If you don't study, you have to do something for your life. It's possible
Mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah.
start your own business. Exactly. Okay, but you have no idea about what.
No, I don't know.
Okay, okay. Fine, fine. Very good. Diana, what about you, my dear? What would it be your life like now if you hadn't studied that major?
Um, in my case, if I hadn't studied my career, I will be studying other other field. For example, the human field. Mm, and I will be lost because I like a lot my career.
What is your major, Diana? Sorry to ask you. What is your major?
Can you repeat, please, teacher?
Sure, of course. What is your major? What did you study? What is your career?
I study business administration.
Okay.
I will graduate the next year.
Okay, very good. I hope that you finish soon. Oh my God. So if you hadn't studied business administration, you would be lost. You wouldn't know what to do, right?
Yes.
Bueno, very good. That's something good because it shows that you like a lot your major. That's something good. Muy bien, very good. That's it. Bueno,
Yes.
very good. Ahora, now I would like you to think on something the opposite way. Something that if you hadn't done, your life wouldn't be the same. Something that you did and made your life to be now as it is. For example, if I hadn't moved with my wife, like it was in 2021, if I hadn't moved with my wife in 2021, in this moment, I would be still so immature because of course moving with my wife make me a lot more mature. So if I hadn't moved with my wife in 2021, I'm going to write it down here. Wait. Hmm. If I hadn't moved with my wife in 2021, now I would still be so immature. I'm pretty sure about it. But what about you? If you hadn't, I don't know, if you hadn't met the perfect person, or if you hadn't become a mommy, or well, some action that if you hadn't done, your life wouldn't be the same in this moment.
In my case, if I hadn't been a mom, now I would I will I will travel.
I would be traveling, puede ser como estaría viajando.
I will be traveling or work, yeah, traveling or working in abroad.
Okay, very good. Abroad, muy bien. El abroad, it's not necessary to use in, just abroad. That's it, right?
Okay.
Muy bien, very good. So you would be traveling or working abroad, or both, no? Working and traveling abroad.
Yes, both.
Okay, very good. And Diana, what about you, my dear?
Um, teacher, I don't know. Mm, um, I don't know because I live in the same place.
Sí, yes.
I don't have regrets.
But for example, Dianita, why did you decide to study business administration? Why did you decide that?
I decide. I don't know what career choose. So I see the different offers to the university, and I like the name of the career.
Ah, good.
And when I started to study, I like it a lot. but uh, but the career wasn't my dream.
Okay. Okay. And Diana, let me ask you something. If you hadn't liked the career, I mean, you stay there because you like the career, but if you hadn't liked the career, would you stay there? I mean, or would you change your major?
Teacher, sorry, can you repeat the
Claro, of
last
course.
part?
Of course, don't worry. If you hadn't liked the major, if you hadn't liked the program and the subjects, would you have changed or would you continue with the same? I mean, because you stay in business administration because you like it. But if you
Mhm.
hadn't liked it, would you continue
Mm,
or would you change to another career?
I will continue the career. And for example, if the first, second, or three semester I don't like nothing, I choose the option of change the career, but
Mm-hmm.
change the program.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I continue. Yes,
But you like it, that's why. Yes.
yes, sí.
This is very good. So this is a hypothetical situation. For example, you are imagining that if I hadn't liked the program, oh, sorry, the program in the first semesters, ¿cierto? O sea, si no te hubiera gustado algo por allá al inicio, if you hadn't liked the program in the first semesters, I would, fíjate, I would have changed de major. Major es como la carrera, ¿cierto? Entonces, en ese caso, la consecuencia no hace parte del presente, hace parte del pasado. ¿Cierto? Dice como, "Ah, si no me hubiera
Ujú.
gustado algunos primeros semestres, la hubiera cambiado, ¿right?" Eso, esa
Ah,
oración está en el tercer condicional normal, ¿cierto? Pero digamos que puedo enfocarlo a lo que estaría pasando ahora. Entonces, digo, por ejemplo, Diana podría decir, si no me hubiera gustado el programa, en este momento estaría estudiando otra cosa. Entonces, I would be studying other major now. Y en este caso sí estoy usando el condicional combinado, ¿cierto? La primera parte es una situación hipotética del pasado, de que si no le hubiese gustado alguna materia o algo de la carrera en los primeros semestres, en este momento estaría estudiando otra carrera. Entonces ahí sí está usando un condicional combinado. La primera parte del tercer condicional y la segunda parte del segundo condicional. ¿Listo? Entonces, la diferencia entre el condicional mixto y el condicional tercero normal, ¿sí? Es que en el tercero la consecuencia se parte también del pasado, como en el primer ejemplo que hicimos con Diana, que si no le hubiera gustado algo, pues hubiese cambiado o hubiera cambiado de carrera en el pasado. Eso es tercer condicional normal. Pero si yo quiero enfatizar lo que esa decisión habría o afectaría ahora en el presente, ahí es cuando uso el condicional combinado y en la segunda parte ya no sería would have y el verbo en past participle, sino simplemente would y el verbo en infinitivo, o en este caso que hemos usado, would be y el verbo en ing también. ¿Listo? Questions ahí, difficulties or problems?
No, teacher.
Fine. Listo. Dianita, good?
good teacher.
Listo, very good. Entonces, como se dieron cuenta, estos condicionales mixtos los puedo usar para describir cómo mi pasado pudo haber afectado o pudo o podría afectar mi presente o posiblemente mi futuro. Si hubieras hecho esto, no estaría pasando esto. Si no hubiera hecho esto, estaría pasando otra cosa o no estaría pasando esto, ¿cierto? Entonces, es como esa relación entre el pasado y el presente, pero de manera hipotética, o sea, irreal, es simplemente una situación imaginaria. ¿Listo? So, that was the first part. Now, the second part, it says that the second question, let me just erase here. The second question says, by the time we finish the course. And the other one says, 5 years from now, right? Entonces, by the time we finish the course, it's establishing a moment, a specific moment into the future, which, as I said before, it's going to be November the 24th. That is the moment when we finish the course, right? And the other expression here, 5 years from now, also establish a time future, which is like a limit, which is 5 years from now, it will be 2030. That is 5 years from now. What is the meaning of from now? When I say from now,
Desde ahora.
desde ahora o a partir de ahora, exactly. O sea, 5 years from now, it will be 2030. It's establishing a point in the future. Ready? But the actions that we are asking here, they are not going to happen, especially in that moment. When we have these questions here, we're talking about a series of events that possibly will have happened before that limit in the future. Ready? So I said that by the time that we finish the course, we will have been learning English for, and then I said 9 months. ¿Cierto? But those 9 months are going to be all the time from February 24th until November 24th. It's all the time that we did the action before the limit of time, antes de que se cumpla ese plazo o ese límite de November 24th, right? The same, when I say 5 years from now, what would you like to have achieved with your English? So you said, okay, new job opportunities. Yes, but the job opportunities are not coming on 2030. Most likely, or more possibly, they are going to come before that time. Maybe the next year, maybe in 2028, maybe in 2029, any moment before the 2030. So in this case, we are not using a normal future. This is not future simple. We're going to use a different kind of future. Let's remember that when we talk about future, we have different possibilities of future, right? We are going to have here, bueno, the first part, it's going to be just using, wait, sí está bien, right, that's it. So we are going to have the future normally, which is be going to, I am going to do something, I am going to do this, I'm going to do that, and will, future simple, right? The future simple with going to, it's something used for established actions, and shorter plans, like something that is not going to be so long, but something like in a shorter term. For example, next weekend, I am going to travel to Medellin or something like that, right? Entonces, in that case, it's a shorter plan, right? Or established actions, which I know that are secure, that are sure. While on the other case, the future simple with will, no, it's going to be especially for possibilities and longer plans. Longer plans, especially because they are not completely determined. It could be a plan, but if it's in a longer term, it's something that is not completely established. Possibly it's going to be just like a prediction of something, right? In this case, we are going to have the future with will. But the future with will, it's going to be divided, as I said, in three different kinds of future. Normally, we are going to have the future simple, which is will and the verb in base form, and it's when the action will happen in a specifically one moment. For example, I said that in in November 24th, November 24th, we will finish our course. The action is going to happen especially in that moment, especially in November 24th, we will finish the course. And the verb is just going to be will and the verb infinitive. We will finish our course. That's it. It's a shorter action and the action is going to happen especially in that moment. We use expressions like, for example, in, on, yeah, like special moments. Or we can use the future continuous. With the future continuous, it's similar because we measured a specific moment. Yes. And we said, for example, next week, right? But the action is a longer action and it's going to be expressed by mixing will, be, and the verb in ing. For example, I can say that next week, we will be, studying advanced phrasal verbs, which is the first week of advanced course. So the next week we will be studying advanced phrasal verbs. ¿Cierto? But it's an action that will happen for all the week, from Monday until Sunday of the next week. So that's why it's not simply with future simple, but it's with future continuous, because it's an action that will be happening for some time, right? Especially used with actions like studying, living, working, traveling, learning, practicing actions which include a process. It's a longer action, so that's why we use that one. Ready? And finally, bueno, de estos ya los habíamos visto antes, so no problem. And finally, we're going to talk about the future perfect. Now, the future perfect is the one that we are learning today. The future perfect is an action or talks about an action that will have happened, habrá sucedido, that will have happened before a time limit in the future. When we have future perfect, we never use expressions like in or the next. No, we're going to use expressions like, for example, by or within. Within, it means, pardon, by, it means para cuando tal cosa pase. By the time we finish the course, by the time I get married, by the time I have kids, by the 2026, by December of 2030. Y es para ese momento. No en ese momento, sino para ese entonces. And within, which is dentro de, similar to the expressions from now, right? Now, these expressions, they say that the limit is this one, whatever, let's say within 5 years, o sea, by 2030. That is the limit. And the action that we describe here, yeah, is an action that will have happened, but we don't know specifically when. Possibly it will have happened before here, or maybe in different moments, here, and here. That's a possibility. But what we want to express here is that the action will have happened, will have finished before this limit of time. Example, by 2030, I will have had my first child. That's my plan. I don't know when. I don't know if God's going to give me a son next year or in 2 years, but I'm sure that before 2030, I will have had my first child. I don't know when, especially, but I know that within 5 years, I will already have had that child. Ready? So it's especially used for plans or for goals into the future, but they are not specially when it's going to happen, but we just establish a limit of time. Yeah, that is the future perfect simple. But as we have future perfect simple, we also have future perfect continuous. That is the other one that we are going to have. When we talk about the future perfect continuous, in this case, it's going to be very similar to the future perfect simple. It's going to be will have been and the verb in ing. Habré estado haciendo tal cosa in the future. This tense is focused on the duration of the action. So I'm saying that by the moment of the limit of time, I will have been doing the action for and focus on the time of the action. For example, by November 24th, by November 24th, yes, we will have been studying together, as Diana said, for 9 months, right? Because the action started last February, but by that moment, November 2024, yes, the duration of the action will be 9 months. So I could say that we will have been doing that action for and then that amount of time, okay? Now, when we have the future perfect simple, it's not necessary to focus on the action, on the duration of the action. It's just that the action will have happened, but it's not important when or how many times or for how much time. But if the action is long, for example, studying, which is all long action, then I can use the future perfect continuous and focus on the durability of the action. Ready? Laurita, help me to read the blue example, dear, please.
By the end of the year, I'll have learned how to cook very well.
Exactly. I don't know when, maybe the next month, maybe. I am learning, I'm in the process of learning, but by the end of the year, o sea, by December of 2025, I will have learned how to cook very well. Possibly in November, I will be an expert. Possibly in December, I will be an expert. I don't know. But the action it's not continuous, no? Because I train one day, the next day I don't train, the next week I try again, and so on. But with these actions, with the present perfect present fuck future perfect continuous, it's an action that happens uninterruptedly, right? Mrs. Diana, help me with the red example here.
Yes. By the end of the year, I'll have been living in my new flat for 8 months.
Exactly, very good. So living is an action, it's a longer action that I do every single day. That's why I can include it with present perfect, future perfect continuous, because it's the action that I will have been doing. And as I said before, we focus on the duration of the action. That's it, right? So I will have been living in my new flat or in my new apartment for 8 months. Ready? So that's the difference between using future perfect continuous and future perfect sim. Okay? Questions about it, difficulties, problems?
No, teacher.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
Listo. Very good. So look into your future. Yes. And so wait. We're going to make crazy suppositions, crazy predictions about the future, no? So by 2030, be really optimistic. What will have happened in your life by 2030? Or what will you have been doing by 2030? For example, I expect that by that moment or by that time, I will have been working in a university for around 2 years, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's an expectation, but I am not sure. I hope that by that time I will have been working in a university for around 2 years. I don't know, but that's what I expect. And also, of course, I think that by that moment, I will have had my child, as I said before. No, so that's what I think. What about you? What are your expectations by 2030?
Teacher, in my case, by 2030, I will have been starting my master degree.
I will have been studying my master's degree for how much time, Dianita? Maybe for 1 year, for 2 years, for
Um, Around 2 years,
sí, very good, for around 2 years. O sea que para el 30 ya estarás a punto de graduarte, básicamente, right?
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's an expectation. Sí, muy bien. Listo, Dianis. Very good. Excellent. And Lau, what do you think?
By the 2030, I
Mhm.
will have paid my mortgage or
Oh,
the mortgage.
is that so?
Maybe, as I told you, we are going to move to the United States the next year, and this is our goal.
Sí, okay. Mortgage. Muy bien. That is a really good goal. I mean, you plan to move and then pay with the money that you make there. Yeah?
Hmm. Yeah,
Ah, very intelligent.
and I will have gotten my second apartment.
Good, excellent. By then, which is para ese entonces, yes, by then, I will have gotten my
My
second
second.
apartment. Very good. Ready? Entonces, if it's an action that, bueno, and do you think that you will have been living in United States already?
Yes,
For how much time?
forever. No, I don't know, but we are planning to stay there. Yeah, many years.
Oh, no, but well, in this case, when I say for how much time, it means in that moment in 2030, how many years will you have been living there? O sea, ¿cuánto llevarás viviendo allá?
Okay, five. No, no, no. 4 years.
Maybe. Because it's the next year, of course.
Yeah, it is the next year.
Exactly. So, in that case, that is the use of the future perfect continuous. Like, bueno, pues para ese entonces, habremos estado viviendo allá por 4 años. Entonces, el Future Perfect Continuous casi siempre se enfoca es en por cuánto tiempo se habrá estado haciendo esa acción. Pues, por ejemplo, que bueno, I will have been working at a university for around 2 years. Yo espero que en el 28 consiga un trabajo de profesor universitario. Entonces, en ese caso, espero ya que para ese entonces habré estado trabajando por 2 años, ¿cierto? Mm, Diana espera que para el 30 ya esté a puntico de graduarse, pues una maestría son 2 años, entonces She will have been studying her master's degree for around 2 years, o sea, ya estará a puntico de graduarse. Y Lau, por ejemplo, se va el otro año, significa que para el 30 habrá estado viviendo por 4 años en USA. ¿Ready? Entonces, ese Future Perfect Continuous se enfoca mucho en por cuánto tiempo se habrá estado haciendo la acción. ¿Listo? ¿Qué tal? Questions about it? ¿Si es clara la diferencia entre el simple y el continuo de Future Perfect?
Mm, entonces, el will have es para pasado. O sea, lo utilizo, es que yo lo confundo, porque yo digo I will have es lo mismo que I will have,
Ah, sí, no.
pero
El would have es para el pasado. El would have, de hecho, es lo que vimos en el anterior, que es como para cuando
ujú,
la consecuencia es en el pasado, como hubiese hecho tal cosa. Ahí es
ok.
cuando uso el would have.
Y este es para lo que voy a hacer
Y
a
este
futuro.
sí, exacto. Es como que habré hecho o habré estado haciendo, dependiendo si es simple o continuo.
Thank you.
¿Listo? Ready? Dianita, questions, difficulties, problems?
No, teacher.
All
At the
fine.
moment, no.
Okay, very good. Now, guys, we're going to go back into the last part. Bueno, let me just erase this part. ¿Puedo borrar esta parte? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, no
Yes,
problem.
teacher.
Thank you. So, think about it. Let me just find for a picture here. Mm. Oh, yeah, I lost my picture here. That's it, right? Bueno, my dear ladies. So, think about a decision of your past that it's modifying the way that you live now. I mean, different from the previous ones. For example, like in terms of diet, like if I hadn't stopped drinking milk, I would be doing something now, right? Think on a decision, something that you decided before and it's modifying the way that you live now. For example, my case, seriously, if I hadn't, if I hadn't stopped drinking, now, sorry, now I wouldn't be paying my own apartment. Of course, I wouldn't be paying my apartment. Yeah, because of course, wasting money on alcohol that doesn't give you enough money to pay your credit. So if I hadn't stopped drinking before, yeah, now I wouldn't be paying my apartment. What about you? Something that you think that it's just, any decision that is affecting your present. Something good, of course, or well, something bad could be, but loud
If I hadn't let studying, ¿no?
could be. Pero cuando dices dejar de, o sea, como parar,
Sí.
stopped.
Ah, okay. If I hadn't stopped studying French, I would be mm, living in Canada.
Okay, very good. So now, if I hadn't stopped studying French, I would be living in Canada. Okay, very good. That's right. And my dear Diana,
If I hadn't um, stopped doing exercise,
podemos incluso usar exercising directamente. Exercising.
okay, um, I would having um better healthier.
Ah, okay, I would have. Solamente I would have.
Mm,
Como que
okay.
tendría, ¿cierto? I would have a better health.
In this case, the verb is bad. Pues por el gerundio. O si se
Si usas
podría.
el, digamos que por lo que el verbo es have, normalmente uno dice como que estaría teniendo mejor salud si no tendría. En cambio aquí usa el be living porque es como que estaría viviendo en Canadá. Acción
Mm,
en gerundio. Y yo no estaría pagando mi apartamento porque son acciones progresivas, pero tener casi nunca lo usamos en gerundio porque es una acción, un estado. Digamos que no es una acción progresiva, sino que tener una salud es algo, es un estado que siempre está. Entonces, en ese caso, por ejemplo, si yo no hubiera dejado de ejercitarme, yo tendría, no estaría teniendo, sino tendría una mejor salud. That's why el have casi nunca lo uso con esa estructura de be y el ing.
ok, thank you, teacher.
Ready? No problem. Bueno, muy bien. Now we're going to complete it. Now, do you already tell me something that you change, that you like hypothetically, that is affecting your future? But we're going to say that's fine anyway. That's fine anyway because, and thinking on the future plan that is related to that change that you do. For example, if I hadn't stopped drinking now, I wouldn't be paying my apartment. But that is fine anyway because by the time I retire, yes, I will have been, no sé, drinking with my family or something like that, or celebrating with my family. Let's yes, let's change the verb drinking. It sounds so ugly. And let's say by the time I retire, I will have been celebrating, celebrating with my family in our own apartment. No? So I did this sacrifice for this reason, but in the future that is going to look like this. No? So by the time I retire, I will have been celebrating with my family in our apartment for many years. Okay, so that is why this was a good sacrifice. ¿Listo? Now tell me, how do you see that change now into your future? What will be or what would have possibly happened with that change? No, because that's fine anyway. Because what? How do you see your future?
Teacher, for example, in my case, maybe I will have been changing um, my como mi rutina de alimentación,
Diet o
my diet.
sí, o my feeding habits, es como mis hábitos alimenticios, feeding habits.
Okay, entonces I will have been changing my diet.
Por ejemplo, muy bien. Entonces, como que, bueno, si me dejé ejercitar, pero está bien, porque para tal momento, ya puedes decir como para cuando, no sé, para cuando me recupere o algo así, by the time, by the time I recover, ¿cierto? Entonces, I will have been changing my feeding
Diet.
habits. Perfecto, Diana, muy bien. That was really cool. Yes. Entonces, excelente. Estamos relacionando esa situación hipotética con la consecuencia en el presente y con un posible futuro. Muy bien, Diana, excelente. Laurita,
Mm, mm, In my case, but within a year, I will have lived in, in the United States.
perfect. I
States.
will have, en este caso puedes usar I will have been living, porque como que estaré viviendo,
I
estaré,
will
estaré
have been living, yes, I will have living in the United
in
States.
the United States. So that's fine because you didn't go to Canada, but nevertheless, you will have moved or you will have been living in the United States. Muy bien, that's right. ¿Listo?
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
Very good. In this case, what we did was using topics that we previously knew, los temas que previamente ya sabíamos, y darles una patadita hacia un poquito más de dificultad, ¿cierto? ¿Para qué? Para empezar a mezclar todos esos tiempos y todas esas ideas que tenemos y ver que cuando hablo en pasado no solamente me tengo que limitar a hablar de pasado, yo puedo hablar de pasado y mezclarlo con el presente y de ahí mismo obtener algo hacia el futuro, ¿cierto? El futuro no solamente es algo que pasará, sino también son predicciones hacia el futuro, como por cuánto tiempo habré esa acción, por cuánto tiempo habré estado haciendo tal acción. Entonces hay muchísimas estructuras que son complementarias a las básicas que ya conocemos, pero que igual son importantes conocer y sobre todo saberlas conectar entre sí mismos, ¿vale? Entonces, muchas opciones, pero ya saben que como les digo, siempre depende de su intención. Hasta el momento, excelentes ejemplos que hicieron hoy, ¿vale? Todo siempre depende de su intención, ¿vale? Dudas, questions, problems, difficulties here.
It's clear, teacher.
Muy bien,
Yes,
perfecto.
teacher.
Listo, me alegra mucho. Entonces, my dear ladies, la otra semanita arrancamos clases desde el jueves para que tengan tiempo de terminar checkpoint final, puedan habilitar su nivel avanzado con calma y tenemos clase jueves y viernes, ¿listo? Para que lo hagan con calmita, sin ningún problema y ya puedan programar sus clases. Las dos, son dos clases la próxima semana, entonces clase 1.1 y 1.2 a partir del jueves, ¿listo? ¿Ready?
Listo, teacher. Muchas gracias.
No, muchas gracias a ustedes por estar tan juiciosas, por acabar este nivel también. Nos vemos el otro nivel y ya nos quedan los últimos dos necesitos para envolver esto y acabarlo, ¿vale?
Y acabar.
Perfecto.
Listo, listo.
Listo. Bueno, my dear
Thank you,
ladies,
teacher.
gracias a ustedes,
Yes, thank
felicitaciones.
you.
Nos vemos la
Bye.
próxima semana.
Bye.
Chao, goodbye.